Working at a retail store isn't glamorous, but I've always believed in treating everyone with respect. People come from all walks of life, and you never really know their story. That belief was put to the test one unforgettable day. A day that started like any other, but ended with a lesson I'll carry forever. It was a Saturday afternoon, and the store was packed. The aisles were buzzing with shoppers browsing for the latest gadgets and tech accessories. As the assistant manager, I had my hands full, managing the floor, assisting customers, and ensuring the staff stayed on task. The store manager, Mr. Coleman, was stationed near the front, scanning the crowd like a hawk, as he always did. Coleman was the kind of person who believed in keeping a tight leash on everything, sometimes to a fault. Amidst the chaos, a young man caught my eye. He looked about 16 or 17, wearing a hoodie and jeans, with a baseball cap pulled low over his face. He wasn't doing anything suspicious, just browsing through the headphones section, but Coleman immediately zeroed in on him. "Watch that one," Coleman muttered to me, nodding toward the boy. "He looks like trouble." I felt uneasy about the comment. "He's just looking around," I said, trying to defuse the situation. Coleman didn't listen. "Trust me, I've been doing this long enough to know when someone's up to no good." I decided to give the kid the benefit of the doubt, but Coleman wasn't about to let it go. He followed the boy from a distance, his gaze sharp and unrelenting. I could see the tension building as the boy moved through the aisles, oblivious to the scrutiny he was under. Finally, the boy picked up a pair of expensive wireless headphones and started walking toward the checkout. Coleman stepped in front of him, blocking his path. "Excuse me, young man," he said, his tone accusatory. "Mind explaining what you're doing with those?" The boy looked startled. "I was going to pay for them," he replied, holding up the headphones. "Really?" "Because you've been lurking around the store for a while now," Coleman shot back. "You sure you're not trying to sneak out without paying?" My heart sank as I watched the exchange. The boy's face flushed with embarrassment, and he glanced around as if hoping someone would step in. Other shoppers were starting to notice, had their whispers filling the air. "I'm not stealing," the boy said firmly. "I just wanted to make sure these were the right ones before I bought them." "Sure you did," Coleman said, crossing his arms. "Empty your pockets." The boy hesitated, clearly uncomfortable. "I don't have anything in my pockets," he said quietly. "Then you won't mind showing me," Coleman pressed. At that moment, I couldn't stay silent any longer. "Coleman, that's enough," I said, stepping forward. "You're making a scene." Coleman shot me a look. "I'm just doing my job." "No, you're harassing a customer," I replied, my voice steady. "Let him pay for the headphones if he wants them, and let's move on." But Coleman wasn't backing down. "Not until I'm sure he hasn't taken anything." The boy finally sighed and turned out his pockets, revealing nothing but a crumpled receipt from another store. "See?" he said, his voice shaking slightly. "I didn't take anything." Coleman frowned but didn't apologize. "Fine, but next time don't act so suspicious." The boy looked like he wanted to say something, but instead he just shook his head and walked to the register. I followed him, wanting to make sure he was okay. As he paid for the headphones, I leaned in and said quietly, "I'm really sorry about that." "It's fine." He muttered, though his tone suggested otherwise. He grabbed his bag and headed for the door. As he was leaving, something unexpected happened. A tall man in sunglasses and a baseball cap walked into the store. He had an air of confidence about him, the kind of presence that turned heads without even trying. It took me a moment to realize why he looked so familiar. "Oh my God," one of the cashiers whispered. "That's Marcus Reed." Marcus Reed, the award-winning actor, philanthropist, and one of the biggest celebrities on the planet. My heart skipped a beat as I watched him stride across the floor, his gaze scanning the room until it landed on the boy. "Hey, you good?" Marcus asked, his deep voice filled with concern as he placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "Yeah, I'm fine," the boy replied. "Let's just go." Marcus frowned and looked around. "What happened?" Before the boy could answer, Coleman stepped forward, his demeanor suddenly much friendlier. "Mr. Reed, it's an honor to have you in our store. Is there anything I can help you with?" Marcus ignored him and turned to his son. "Did something happen?" The boy hesitated, glancing at me. I nodded slightly, encouraging him to speak up. "They thought I was stealing," he said finally, his voice quiet but steady. He made me empty my pockets in front of everyone. Marcus's jaw tightened and he turned to Coleman. Is that true? Coleman stammered, his confident facade crumbling. I was just trying to prevent shoplifting. It's nothing personal. Nothing personal? Marcus repeated, his voice rising slightly. You humiliated my son in front of everyone because you thought he looked suspicious? What does that even mean? I didn't know he was your son, Coleman blurted out, as if that somehow made it better. Marcus shook his head, his expression a mix of anger and disappointment. And if he wasn't my son, would that make it okay? Do you treat all your customers like criminals, or just the ones who look like him? The store was silent. Everyone was watching, their eyes wide with curiosity and unease. Coleman's face turned red as he struggled to come up with a response. I'm sorry, he said finally, though it was clear the apology was more about saving face than genuine remorse. Marcus didn't let him off the hook. You should be apologizing to my son, not me. Coleman turned to the boy. I'm sorry, he said, though the words lacked sincerity. The boy nodded but didn't say anything. He didn't need to. His father had said everything that needed to be said. Before they left, Marcus turned to me. Thank you for trying to stand up for him, he said. It means a lot. I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and guilt. I'm sorry this happened. It's not your fault, Marcus replied, but it's a reminder that we've still got a long way to go. As they walked out of the store, the staff and customers were left in stunned silence. Coleman avoided my gaze, clearly embarrassed by how things had played out. That day, I learned an important lesson. Never judge someone based on appearances. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, no matter who they are or where they come from. You never know who someone might be, or what battles they're facing. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories. What kind of stories do you want to hear next? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, kindness and empathy go a long way. Treat others the way you'd want to be treated.